I was going to say that there is a difference between being frustrated and defeated. And that's what sets us apart from a lot of people. Like, I made a post the other day and I was just talking about how I'm ready to be successful. Like, I was expressing my frustration because I'm here and I know who I am. I know what we're capable of. I know what we have to offer. And we've been in this thing. We've been working our butts off. And it just feels like we almost there. Like, you can almost taste it, but it's just not there yet. And it's that frustration that you feel when you're almost there. And I was expressing that frustration, going back to how I desire to make content that better aligns with who I am. And I want to be honest with you guys about how I feel, what I'm experiencing, because I recognize that's when I really enjoyed making content, is when I was being honest. I would call Instagram like my diary. I'm not afraid to talk about whatever I'm going through because I'm not a defeated type of person. When I talk about what I'm going through, I'm not saying it with, oh, I just give up, like, life's like, no, I'm not defeated at all. You gonna hear I'm angry. You're gonna hear I'm sad. You're gonna hear I'm anxious. You're gonna hear I'm frustrated. You're gonna hear these emotions, but you're never gonna hear that I'm defeated.
Without black, there cannot be anything else.
Hello, gods and goddesses. Welcome back to another episode of the Black and Abundant podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Nia, and this is my king, Jamal.
What up? What up? What's good, people?
Welcome back to another week with us. How you feeling, babe?
Man, I'm feeling extremely grateful. I feel really, really good. Very, very blessed. How about yourself?
I'm feeling good.
That's good.
I'm feeling good. Life is good. I mean, life is what it is. But I'm making the most of it. I am in the process of changing my mindset. It's actually something that I read today in this book.
Enlighten us.
I cannot even think of the name of the book right now, but if I think of it, I'll let you guys know. But this book was saying how in the pursuit of a goal, or in the pursuit of an intention, she says, let's call goals intentions now, because you want it to have like a more positive connotation that doesn't feel like so much pressure, because you don't want to put too much pressure on your goals. So when setting intentions, the journey to achieving that has to be just as valuable as actually achieving the intention. Because if you miss the mark, then you'll get down on yourself. You'll start to feel negative energy towards what you really desire. But, if you get it, not only did you enjoy the journey, but you're also getting to reap the benefits of actually having the intention. So I'm changing my perspective, even though the situation or the life that we are living right now isn't what I desire in the long term. Although I'm super, super grateful for where I am. She said this as well. Don't make yourself feel bad for desiring more. You can be grateful for everything that you have and everything that you are right now, but because we are creators, we're always going to want more. So I can be honest in saying that in this place that we're in right now, I am very, very grateful, yet I deeply desire more. But I am learning to have fun in the midst of what we have right now, because there was a time when we didn't have it. That's my answer. That's how I am.
I like that. And I was going to ask what inspired you to want to change that perspective, but you said this current situation that we're in is what led to the perspective tweak.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's good. It reminds me of marathon running. It's just a whole journey of the process. You spend majority of your time training and running and up until the marathon, but when you accomplish the goal, it's only a split second. But what I've learned is that the beauty is in the process, the beauty is in the journey, right? And that applies to life. Like, we all gonna have goals, and you set your intentions, right? Yes, but don't forget that you spend majority of your life in the journey.
Right.
So I feel like the ones who master feeling good master the journey and having a sense of whatever perspective that's conducive to you to help you get through the journey so you can achieve the goal. I feel like those are the most fulfilled, most happy, most successful people.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's beautiful, babe. That's what's up.
I thought of another example of how we felt after the engagement, where the engagement was literally like a split second, and I don't even remember anything that you said or what happened. No clue. Absolutely no earthly idea. But the fun part wasn't the engagement. The fun part was actually dating and building up to that. And even now, like, people keep asking us, when's the wedding? When's the wedding? When's the wedding? I am in absolute no rush to get married. Like, not even in a little bit. I'm not even excited. Or I'm not saying I'm excited. I'm not in a rush to have a wedding because I know that the anticipation is going to be the fun part. Honestly, because the wedding's only, a day? You know? So, and then it's the only wedding we ever get to have. You know, I don't get to relive the proposal ever again. So, I'm not necessarily in a rush to have the wedding. The fun part is just the anticipating that one day we're going to have a wedding and it's going to be everything that we wanted.
For sure. And that goes with everything. Like, shout out to the women, shout out to the queens. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it safe to assume that when you're going on a date or you're going out to a party or you're going out somewhere, a lot of the fun is in the before stage, the anticipation part of you getting ready, getting dolled up, right? Because it's what you're building in your mind, the expectation, you know? So yeah, anticipation is a beautiful thing if you use it right.
Right. So that is my intention going into the rest of my life. How can I enjoy the journey? Which it can be very challenging, and I'm going to be open and accepting of my emotions in the process. Another thing, this book is just fire.
Talk about it.
Side note, I really thought that I used to read a lot. Like, I used to read a lot. And I haven't felt pulled to read lately. And seeing you read and seeing you have the King's Only Book Club, DM him if you want to join. But seeing you have the King's Only Book Club, seeing that, I'm like, dang, my man, he's learning something every day. Like, he's growing, he's expanding every day. And I felt bad because I've tried to pick up a book. I genuinely have over the past few months, but every time I just don't feel pulled to read it. I don't feel excited to turn the next page, you know. And I recognize that that's what I was just wanting. Like, I feel like you get excited about the books that you read, but I just, looking at the books on our bookshelf, I have not been excited, like, at all. But then going to Kimaya's apartment and looking at her bookshelf, and I recognize that it's because the books that I have on our bookshelf right now, like, they aren't in alignment with what I feel like I need right now. And therefore, when I read them, it's like I'm reading them in vain because everything's just going over my head because that's not what I need right now. So that's just the sidebar about, like, if you don't feel pulled to read, don't force yourself. Just pick up a different book.
Did you know what you needed at the time before you pulled the book? Before you got the book?
I've been craving just more spiritual alignment. And I don't necessarily mean in terms of, like, spirituality, religion, or anything like that. What I mean is in terms of myself. How can I cater my mindset to where I am right now? And I'm not talking about you gotta incorporate habits and stuff like that every day, but just shifting my mindset to be more at peace with the place that we're in.
I feel like our viewers would like to know your process on that, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are in that space right now. So just kind of walk them through your process of getting to that place, or whatever that looks like.
That's actually what I want this whole podcast to be about.
Cool.
So that's actually amazing. Awesome segue. But this entire podcast, and let me just talk about the main focus here,
Mm-hmm.
is that my intention is to talk about the revelations that we came to and how our mindset is shifted in the way that we do business and the way that we are approaching this season of our lives right now. So for our new viewers or people who haven't, been here, or maybe you just don't know, but Jamal and I are both full-time entrepreneurs right now. We run several businesses together and a lot of different side hustles, and we do it all. So we are in a season where we've been unemployed for 7 months now ish, somewhere around there, 7 to 8 months now. And we're in a place where we're still in the beginning stages of building something. And when you're in the beginning stages of building something, it can get really frustrating at times because things don't necessarily go your way. You're in the process of learning. You're in the process of trying new things. Some investments just feel like a wasted money, and sometimes you get something out of it that you didn't even know that you would get out of it. It's very much a huge, steep learning curve right now. But I genuinely feel like when we hit that cusp, it's like when you're an entrepreneur, there's just that peak, that level that you hit where then everything after that starts to flow more naturally. But before you get there, it's like a battle. It is a huge battle because you're wondering when you're going to get there, how you're going to get there. This ain't working. When you hit that cusp, you know it works because you've been doing the work. You've been doing the trials. So you understand what works. So now you're just doing more of what works. But we ain't there yet. So that's just some backstory on where we are. And so you can get an idea of emotionally, mentally, spiritually where we are. So now reframe your question. I forgot it.
Walking our viewers through your process of what you're doing to get to the place of spiritual alignment.
So let's talk about why that's even important in the first place.
Okay.
And then I feel like we can talk about how.
Okay.
Because I can sit up here and I can tell you how, but it won't matter to you because a lot of entrepreneurs I feel are in this space of I just got to get the bag, I just got to figure out what works. You're more concerned. You're busy studying the business. You're busy studying the investments, the endeavors, the numbers. So that's your main focus. So you feel like that's the only thing that you need in order to be successful in business. And something that we've learned is that's not it. And you will run yourself in circles trying to chase that.
Mm-hmm.
So we recognized this past weekend that we desire to run businesses that are only in alignment with us. And just what I was saying about how when you have an intention, you have to enjoy the journey. I feel like and I'll speak for myself, you can speak for yourself, but I feel like I got to a place where I was starting to prioritize the numbers. I was starting to prioritize the advice and the opinions of people who are already, successful, already got books and marketing geniuses and multimillionaires. I was putting their opinion about what I should be doing over my own judgment. So then I had to ask myself, do I trust myself in this path to success? And you might say, no, because I've never been there. How can I trust that I know where I'm going if I've never been there? But the thing about being aligned spiritually is that you have been there.
Hold up. Now, I know you ain't listening to this podcast and your credit is jacked up.
Nah. The goal here is being black and abundant, not black and limited, because we both know that there's only so much you can do with a jacked up credit score, right? I know you're tired of getting denied. So what I need you to do is head over to start.jscocapital.com and book a free credit consultation with us right now. And let us come up with a game plan to get your credit right. I do not care what's on your credit. It can be collections, bankruptcies, charge-offs, late payments, you name it. We'll get you right. So once again, that's start.jscocapital.com. All right. I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Now let's get back to the episode.
I said with Manifested, my clothing brand Manifested, that as soon as you want something, it is already yours. It has already manifested in the past tense. So the moment that we desire to be successful, the moment that we desire to be multimillionaires, it was already written. It's already on the way. So how can we trust our own judgment to getting there? Business isn't just about following what everyone else did, because you can follow what everyone else did to the T and still not get the same results because they're not you. You're not them. You don't operate like they do. You don't think like they do. You can't maximize off of the exact same opportunities that they did. So at some point, you have to recognize that you have to stop listening to other people and start listening to yourself along this journey.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. And the reason why I feel like we've gotten to that place is that, just after a certain point, you just get so tired of it's just so much noise. And then when you get so clouded by a lot of noise, then you cloud your own judgment. And then when you get to that place, you kind of like lose yourself in that process. Which is tough. It's hard, Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with taking your own judgment. There's nothing wrong with trusting yourself when you are super, super, super clear on what you want.
Yeah, that part.
I realize a lot of our errors in our journey, even from a life standpoint, but from entrepreneur base, a lot of errors come from when you're not clear on your intention, what you're doing. And you may know what you want to a certain T, and you'll go into endeavors thinking that whatever that thing that is going to help you reach that goal. And then you may, like, let's say, dig into that bag and you start to look around and see, it's like, but
do I really want this?
Do I really want that? And then you get to a place where you have to take a step back and self-reflect. And then you go back to the drawing board, you get clear on, well, this is what I really want. And then you go back into the game, take some more shots, and then you learn more. Then you realize, you know what? That's not what I want either. So everybody that's listening, number one, take all the time you need to self-reflect and get out a pen and paper and ask yourself, what is it that I truly want? Not even just from a monetary perspective, but just me as a human being. What type of relationships that I desire to build? What type of business relationship? Like, how do I want to live? Like, get super clear. Also get super clear on like what you don't want. And that will help you get closer to what you do want. Get more clear on what you do want as well. And that is a daily continual thing. Mm-hmm. A daily continual thing. You must ask yourself that every single day. You don't write your mission out just one time, or you don't write your goals out one time and you just, and that's people's problem. They write it out. They may write some stuff out. They may think they know what they want, and they go put it up on the shelf, and they go.
Right.
But it's so much noise out there. It's a fool for you to think that you're gonna go out here in this world and be extremely focused if you don't have your goals and why you do what you do in front of you all the time, because it's so much information out there, so much noise out there that's waiting to distract you. Mm-hmm. And you gotta place more value on eliminating distractions and build the habit and discipline of clearing your mind daily, looking at your goals and mission every single day so you can stay focused on tasks. And then when things come across your journey, you would know you can make better sound decisions on how to move and what to do. And I feel like what we messed up is that we lost sight. And just being transparent, we lost sight of why we decided to do what we did do and what our goals are.
Yeah.
You know, and you can lose yourself in that process, but I'm glad we learned that lesson. We're back here, so we're super clear on like how we want to move now. So going forward, we're going to make sure that that's at the forefront of our mind every single day.
Right. And I want to give an example of what that means, because I feel like people might hear you, but they don't hear you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll just take myself, for example. And let me give this little nugget first. Y'all, when money is involved, it's easy to get lost. When money is involved, it's easy to get lost. And I'm not talking about just because you adore money or that you're money hungry, because we're not at all. Like, if you know us on a personal level, then you understand that money isn't we're not making money just for the sake of making money. Like, we desire to make money because of our freedom. We desire freedom more than we desire anything else. So sometimes that desire, because in this corporation, United States of America, freedom equates to money. You need money. You can use money to get you out of, even if you have enough money, you can get out of any situation. So sometimes we could get caught up in this idea of I gotta make money. And then you see prices raising. It's harder and harder to maintain a living, to eat. Groceries, we were talking the other day about how when I had budget sessions in 2019, I used to budget $400 a month for food. I can spend $400 on food, one trip to Walmart. And that's Walmart. That's like the cheapest as you can go. One trip to Walmart, I'd be spending over $100 on nothing. And that only lasts me a few days. Lasts us a few days. In actuality, we need dang near $1,000 a month on food.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the lifestyle that we live, because we choose healthier whole food.
Right. I mean, we could eat ramen every day.
Yeah, we could.
But I wouldn't mind. I really wouldn't mind.
I would love that too, but my future self would hate me.
Right. But I love ramen. But either way, I have an addiction. Either way, it's getting harder and harder to maintain a lifestyle nowadays. So it can be easy to get caught up in, I gotta make money, that you lose sight of why you're doing it in the first place.
Right.
So, for example, and this is where I am and what I've learned on my experience. You see my book here, How to Move On in 30 Days. howtomoveonin30days.com. Okay. It's a fire book. It is a amazing book, and reading it, like going back and reading it, my official copies finally came in, so cute. But going back and reading the book is some really great information. It's an amazing book, not gonna lie to you. But this book originally was something called Self-Love Manifested, which was a guided journal on self-love. So I wrote an entire journal. Like, it is written. It is formatted and everything, y'all. I have this entire journal, and I presented it to one of our mentors. And he told me it's too broad. You need a specific person that you're talking to. You need a specific audience. You should write a book on something like people going through a breakup. So I scrapped my entire journal, and I started writing this book, which I do have expertise in that area. Like, I have gone through a terrible breakup, and now am on the other side. I'm happily engaged to the love of my life. Like, I've guided other people through their own breakups and their own toxic situations. So I genuinely feel like I was very qualified to write this book. More than anything, I was. However, I'm not going to say I didn't want to write this book, because I genuinely enjoyed writing it. But because I wrote this book, I now had to gear my entire social media around relationships and breakups. So if you've been following me for a while, you'll see that there's a drastic shift where I start talking less about self-love and manifestation and more about relationships and what's trending. Like right now, people are steady talking about relationships. There's the argument of the black woman against the black man. Like that's trending right now.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to prepare for this book being released, I switched over to talking more about relationships, which I actually enjoy talking about. However, my heart is really with self-love, manifestation, femininity. That's really where my heart is. But I listen to, because we've had multiple mentors across the board that are like, market, sell. You should be talking about this every day, everything that you post. Like, and so I listened to them, and I changed my beautiful platform where all of my followers I've gained through being myself, talking about what I want to talk about and when I want to talk about it. But I switched my entire platform around to like targeting relationships and breakups and all of that. And guess what happened? My following has been the same all 2022. I have not made it over 7,000. I think 7,300. I have not made it to 7,400 all 2022. In 2021, my following grew a good 4,000. But in 2022, it did not grow at all. And so I give you that example to say, at some point, you have to ask yourself, even though this is what's trending, even though this is what's gotten other people to levels of success, even though this has made other people money, is this in alignment with me? Because I made a post the other day on Instagram, and I said specifically, it's not that I've been lying to y'all. Like, I do talk about relationships, and I feel like I'm qualified to talk about relationships. I've been telling you everything that I believe from my heart. I'm not faking it. However, doing so doesn't fire me up. It feels like a job. I don't necessarily want to talk about relationships all the time. I don't want to gear that. I don't want to have to sell to my followers. I love you guys. Like, I value you guys coming in my DMs and telling me how much I've impacted your life than I do talking about whatever's trending. And that's what I feel like is happening. And I feel like because I was out of alignment with what I really wanted and who I really am and who I desire to be, that's why the needle has not been moving.
It's I want to say it's a hard balance. Maybe not necessarily a hard balance. Yeah, hard balance, because in the world where you just want to make it, you want to be successful, and you take on the advice of like, if you want to get some results, man, follow somebody who has the results, and you know, and then what their word is like coming out the lips of God, you know.
Right.
So everything they say is like, yes, okay, I'm gonna do that. But in that journey, you could lose yourself, you could lose your voice, and your voice becomes their voice, you know. And it's what it seems like what happened to you, you know, which is not necessarily it's bad, but you created a beautiful product, and there's people out there that's going to need that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're the one that got to go to deal with your internal self on a day-to-day basis, and you know when you know what I'm saying. So it's like one of those things where it's just your inner self is screaming like it's time to come back home to what was original, and that is your duty and responsibility to do while you live this life, is be original, be you, and do what's true to you. So yeah. So what's to come now?
Well, as you guys may have seen if you follow me, that I have decided to take a step back away from Instagram. So Nia Love is on pause right now. But I mean, of course you'll still see me posting, because I've been such a responsible influencer, and I had 2 weeks of content already made and scheduled out. So that's still going, but I'm not making any new content until I can feel like I am in alignment. And I might drop something here and there, but as far as like being consistently making content, I recognize that I want to put my energy towards other things, because more than anything, I feel like I will be able to tap into who I truly am and where I desire to be as a woman once we are stable. So I'm going to put my energy towards that. I don't want to market anymore. I don't want to sell anymore. Please buy my book. I would love it if you did. However, I'm tired of basing my social media around what I have to sell rather than basing it off of who I am. So that's what's in store for me right now. But I say all that to say that at some point you have to decide what it is that you truly want to do and who you want to be outside of what's working, because just like Jamal said, everybody's a mentor now. Everybody's a coach. Everybody got some type of course or book or seminar or whatever. Everybody. You can have 100 different mentors in the same industry, all telling you different things, all telling you different plays. We know because we've been there. So at what point do you stop and say, I'm going to listen to myself now?
It takes courage.
Yeah.
In the midst of being in that space and just saying like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a step back and just start listening to myself. It takes a extreme level of self-love and courage, and you don't want to let your mentors down. You know what I'm saying? You know, of course, not only when you pay for their time and you building a relationship with them as well, and then you decide to be like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back and go a different route, do my thing. But it's so necessary. It's the best thing that can happen. I can bet that since you've made that decision, like a weight has just fell off your shoulders. You feel a lot better. Or do you?
I do. Another thing, y'all, last week I got so spiritually sick. And the reason why I know it's spiritual, so it was actually 2 weeks ago. My hip started randomly hurting. You guys know I go to the gym 4 times a week. And Coach KJ, shout out to her. She be pushing us. Now, I didn't fall on it. I didn't pull nothing. Like, I didn't feel like Coach KJ is very, very technical, and she always is making sure that I'm doing the exercises correctly so that I don't hurt myself and so that I can maximize off of each exercise. So I know I didn't do anything to hurt my hip. And then the pain, like, it just randomly came when we were in the shower. And it wasn't like a muscle pain. It felt like it was in my bones. It's like no matter what way I stretched, it wouldn't come out. Like, I would feel no type of relief. And like, I did some therapy at the gym and got hit with the electricity, whatever. That didn't help. It made me feel worse. And then on top of that, I got sick. Like, I started feeling flu-like symptoms. Like, I having body aches and stuff like that. And emotionally, I was all over the place. I felt like I was having a quarter-life crisis all of a sudden. And then Jamal just came to me last Friday and was like, you want to take a trip? So we took a trip.
What kind of trip?
You know, the shroomy shroom kind of.
Okay. for the ones who don't know, you on that type of time.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched that video, like that's our most viral video, I guess, if you would say that. So you should go watch it. But either way, we took a trip, and in that trip, everything came out. So these revelations that I'm giving to you about how I don't feel in alignment with what we were doing, and that's why I feel like there's been a blockage in our growth. All of that came out in that trip, and we made some big familial changes and big decisions that we can take moving forward for the rest of the year. My hip instantly healed. I have not had any problems. KJ asked me about that today in the gym, and I was like, I genuinely feel like that was a spiritual pain because it's gone. And that's just another indicator. So you asked me earlier about how do you get back in alignment spiritually? What does that look like? Well, one is picking up on the fact that you need it in the first place. And I say all that to say that your body will tell you. Like, my body told me, but I couldn't see it for what it was at the time. But when you're starting to experience an on pile of negative emotions that you can't quite understand or figure out, like, the journey is not supposed to be painful. Like, it's not supposed to be painful. It's supposed to be challenging, but it's not supposed to be miserable. It's not supposed to be miserable. So if you're feeling feelings of misery, that's how you know that there's something deeper and spiritual going on. And that's when you take time to address it. And for us, addressing it looked like taking a shroom trip. Anytime we feel any type of blockage, we be like, you want to take a trip? Because it answers everything. And I want you to just talk a little bit about that experience for you. And where have you been? How's things been going on with you and where you are mentally and, you know, your business endeavors and such?
To be real with y'all, shit, I'm motherfucking excited. Goddamn, like, I feel like I'm in a freaking prime. Like, I'm in such an exciting place with myself. That's no cap, and I'm not trying to be like on some, like, you know, but I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. You know how I am. Like, I thrive in these type of okay, we got to figure this out. It needs to work. Because I honestly, this is what I asked for myself. When I made the decision to go into entrepreneurship, I knew that it was going to be a journey. I knew it was going to be a lot that I just don't know. And because I have such high expectations for myself, and because I'm asking of a lot, because I truly desire to be somebody who makes extreme impact in other people's lives, that wants to make true change. Oh no, the light went out. Because I want to be somebody that wants to truly change people's lives, I have to go through a lot of enduring and a lot of tests and trials. So, but I learned so much about myself through that process. And I want to say shouts out to my 2019, 2020 self. I think I ran those 2 marathons. I learned so much about myself because in that journey, it's a daily having to show up for yourself. You learn a lot about mindset, mental toughness, and just about life. You can correlate the two. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Coach Trey. He said, if there is no resistance, there is no progress. So right now in my life, to be real with y'all, I'm receiving a lot of resistance. But I put a lot of time and energy in tweaking, only shaping my perspective, because I've learned that if you have the wrong perspective, you lose the game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what goes on in your life. You determine how you respond to what's going on in your life. So yeah, so what? Financially, may not be doing the best. So what? I got this issue with my mama. So what? I got this issue with my family. So what? It's a test. I'm learning so much. And not to sound so cliche, but every day is an opportunity for me to get up and find a solution and learn more about not only about me, but just this game of life. And when I pass the test, when I learn, and I say this all the time, the experience is going to be with me for the remainder of my life. So yeah, that's how it is for me. And even with so my shroom trip was something completely different, whatever. But I truly appreciate the conclusion that we came to, such as, like, you know, it makes sense for me to kind of be forward facing what we're doing, you know. And that is a new journey, new challenge for me, but I accept the calling because that's what I asked for. So there's no time to back up. So I honestly, this is gonna be ballsy what I'm about to say, and I stand up for it because I believe in myself so much. And that's another thing, man. Don't place your confidence in what you expect to happen in the journey. Place your confidence within yourself, knowing that no matter what goes on in your life, no matter what happens, you believe in yourself so much that you're gonna see it through. Period. And that's just the energy that I'm in. So I wake up in that energy and that type of time every single day. And that's just what I'm on right now. So, hey, let's get it. What's up?
That's beautiful. That was a bar, babe.
Appreciate it.
For those of you that didn't hear him, I'm just going to run that back real quick. Don't put all of your faith in what you are doing. Put all of your faith in who you are, in your ability to always persevere and see it through. If we put all of our faith in what we were doing, we would have gave up so long ago.
Facts.
When I tell you guys that we've had so many different business endeavors, so many different things that we've done, investments that we made that just fell through, like, people don't get caught up in this get rich quick world right now, because it's not. Like, there are the 1% of people who do try something and they hit the goal. Like, great for them. But for the 99% rest of us, there is no quick way to get a come up. Like, find something that's in alignment with you, and no matter what, as long as you pour yourself into that, you are going to be successful because you believe in you rather than what you're doing. I feel like that's kind of where we felt when we were in the network marketing business. Like, we put so much faith in that business model. We believed in that business model way more than we believed in ourselves.
Right.
And that's why we weren't successful. You can be successful in whatever business you do. It's just dependent on you. You have to figure out what business and what endeavor aligns with you, because when you are met with the right endeavor, you're unstoppable. It's finding that
100%. And to add on to that, for me, and I must be in that type of energy if I want to be the best leader I can be, for not only for myself but for us and, you know, our family and the people that look up to us. Like, falling off is not an option. I may fall off in business, I may fall off in such and such, but falling off when it comes to myself is not an option. If I'm gonna fall, I have people in my circle such as you that's not gonna let me fall. And that's another thing. Make sure your circle is tight. Because when you do trip or whatever, they like grab you by the arm and get you back on your feet. So I'm not worried, but I truly believe that I can do that for myself. Cause I believe I'm committed to this life shit. It's deeper than business. I'm committed to this life thing, the journey. I thrive on the journey.
Yeah.
Shout out to when I tell you, when I ran those marathons, it built me. It did something in me. I'm committed to the motherfucking journey. And whatever that comes on that journey, I'm going to see it through. I see no else. I don't think no else. There is no failure. The only way that I would fail if I quit on myself, and quitting is not an option when it comes to me. So, and that's confidence with myself. So no matter what I do, I'm a win. And now, because I'm more clear on like what I want and what I want to do, I'm harnessing all the energy towards that now. I'm at a place with myself, y'all. I've done all the hard work to take care of my health, and I'm continuously doing the hard work to take care of my health, because before the bad, when you're chasing the bad, make sure you put your health first. You know, what you're putting in your body, because what you put in is a reflection not only of you, but also as within, so as without. You know, that's a real thing. Take care of your health. I'm in the best shape of my life physically, but also mentally. I'm in the best place mentally because I value that. I work on that daily. To be real, in my relationships, like I don't talk to a lot of people now, but the people I do rock with, they respect me. That's success to me. The only missing piece right now is the bad, to be real. That's the only missing piece.
Yep.
There's a reason why it's not here yet, but I feel it coming. There's this analogy like the 3 feet from gold. You know, we can be close. Like, it can be right there. Our next break, maybe tomorrow, next week, next month. And I stay in that type of energy.
Yeah.
But what if we quit now? We're not going to get it. I was listening to a podcast the other day. My man, very extremely successful today, but he had 12 failed entrepreneur endeavors. Imagine going through 12 failed endeavors.
Hey, we close.
Going through he said he went through depression, all this stuff. Like, it really beat him up. But the next one though, the one that gave him the break, and now he living man, when I tell you he's living his best life, him and his wife, like ultimate freedom. I feel like we're on that same way, but I feel like I'm on the same way because you asked me the question like how I'm doing. When that bag hit, it's over. It's over, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's over. Not in the sense of I'm finna be out here stunting, but because I know that the bag is not gonna change me, because the journey is building me, it's molding me, it's preparing me for what's to come. I'm continuously going through shit. The more shit that I go through, the better I become. That's my mantra. The more shit, like, come on, what else? What's next? Come on. Let's go. And I stay in that thinking frequency every day. That's why I'm hard on myself in a way of I take myself through these trials and things that I do to mind train. So, because I'm literally preparing myself for what's to come. Because I must be the man that I'm desiring, what I'm asking for, because I know something big is coming. And when it comes, I know I'm going to be ready. Yeah, so that's it when it comes to me.
Babe, I'm literally sitting over here. Like, I was about to cry for a second.
Really?
Pause. I am so proud of you. I am so incredibly proud of you. I just took a second to just listen to you. Like, just to, not that don't listen to you, but to deeply just like listen to you. And you've become such an amazing speaker.
What?
You've become such an amazing speaker. And y'all, this is just a sidebar. Jamal, this speaking was an obstacle. It was an obstacle.
Still is.
But did you hear how fluently he just spoke there? How effortlessly he just spoke. It wasn't always like that. We used to, when we first started this podcast, go back and watch episode 1. When we first started this podcast, we would get off the podcast and Jamal would be like, all right, what do I need to work on? What I need to do? And I just want to say, like, it's been we started this in August and it's January. You've just come such a long way in such a short amount of time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That means the world to me, Queen. Real talk. And that falls into this, what we're talking about, the journey, being committed to the journey. It changes you.
I see it.
And of course you have a lot to do with that. And I'm very grateful.
I just wanted you to know that I see you.
Thank you, baby.
That's all. I'm super proud of you.
Appreciate it.
But going back to the topic and what I was about to say, I was going to say that there's a difference between being frustrated and defeated. And that's what sets us apart from a lot of people. Like, I made a post the other day and I was just talking about how I'm ready to be successful. Like, I was expressing my frustration because I'm here and I know who I am. I know what we're capable of. I know what we have to offer. And we've been in this thing. We've been working our butts off. And it just feels like we almost there. Like, you can almost taste it, but it's just not there yet. And it's that frustration that you feel when you're almost there. And I was expressing that frustration, going back to how I desire to make content that better aligns with who I am. And I want to be honest with you guys about how I feel, what I'm experiencing, because I recognize that's when I really enjoyed making content, is when I was being honest. I would call Instagram like my diary. I'm not afraid to talk about whatever I'm going through because I'm not a defeated type of person. When I talk about what I'm going through, I'm not saying it with, oh, I just give up, like, life's like, no, I'm not defeated at all. You gonna hear I'm angry. You gonna hear I'm sad. You're gonna hear I'm anxious. You're gonna hear I'm frustrated. You're gonna hear these emotions, but you're never gonna hear that I'm defeated. Because it's okay to experience emotions. Emotions are simply fuel. That's another thing that I learned in the book. You have to learn to embrace your emotions, because if you don't embrace your emotions, then you're not going to learn what that emotion is trying to teach you. Every emotion that you experience, used in the proper way, is there to elevate you and push you forward. But if you're steady trying to ignore those emotions, you're just going to be caught in that same cycle that caused you to feel that emotion in the first place. So when I say, that I'm frustrated, that we're frustrated, or that we're in this place, I'm not even going to say that things are like ecstatic, like I'm just happy, that's not where I am. I'm going to be real with you. That's not where I am. But I let you know what, I'm not defeated, because I believe in us. I believe in me. There is not a reality in my mind, like, it just does not exist, where we go back to a 9-to-5 long term and just say, forget business.
It ain't for us.
I can't even fathom.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom. I know you'd leave me in a heartbeat if I said something like that. You leave me. I'd leave you if you said something like that. So I want you guys to know, like, just talking about spiritual alignment, talking about spirituality, the spiritual side of business. Ooh, that might be the name of it. The spiritual side of business. Like, it is okay to be emotional. It is okay to be emotional. People think that you just have to be hard and cold in order to be in business, but you don't. And that's one thing we had to learn about ourselves, is that we want to operate our businesses how we want to operate them. We love people. We love people. We are givers. We are what it truly means to be an influencer. When people say that they're influencers, my first question is, okay, what are you influencing people to do? Are you just influencing people to, like, dress nice? Are you just influencing people to just make a lot of money? What are you truly influencing people to do?
That's a great question.
And that's the root. That's the root of it all. So in the process, if you're truly going to be influencing people, you have to recognize that you have to be a human being. You have to be a human being. You can't be this robotic person. No one's going to feel you. No one's going to relate to you. Then what is really your mission? What is really your mission? If you're teaching people how to get to money, but you can't relate to them, what's really the mission? I said in my post, because I wrote in the caption, like, I don't want y'all to tell me everything's going to be okay. I don't want y'all to motivate me or whatever. I do that every single day. I just want y'all to let me know if you feel the same. I'm not defeated. This is, I don't need your, it's going to be okay. You going to get there. Just patience. I know. And you know too. If you're out there building your business right now, you're an entrepreneur, you know too, or else you wouldn't be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
People call themselves entrepreneurs all the time, but are quick to quit. If you're quick to quit, you are not an entrepreneur. You're not. And here, I also want to establish the difference between quitting and pivoting. I say this all the time. Pivot. I pivot all the time. Like, just like Jamal said earlier, if you test something, you feel like it's not in alignment with you and you need to pivot. Why are you wasting time? If it does not feel good while you are doing it. Another thing she said in the book. I gotta figure out the name of this book. I can't remember the name of it to save my life. But she said, it is okay to have discipline. It is okay to have habits. It is okay to work hard. But how you know if you're disciplined in the right areas in the right way and you're putting in the right amount of hard work is if you don't complain about it.
Hey, that's a good one.
When Jamal was what is it? I was about to say studying. When Jamal was training for his marathon, he would run miles every day. I would literally be driving the car next to him while he ran through downtown Birmingham, like every day. But he kept doing it. And of course, like, it sucked, and sometimes he'd be like, oh, I don't feel like it. But complaining wasn't his first thought. Complaining was never like his main emotion. He pushed through because he knew that training for that marathon, running those marathons, were in alignment with what he truly wanted. And he ended up getting what he wanted out of that. So, in the process, are you still in alignment with what you truly want? Because if you do, it won't be painful. It won't be excruciatingly painful. You will be frustrated. Embrace those emotions, and that's okay. It's when it starts to get painful do you recognize that you need a shift. Babe.
Y'all, let's give my queen a round of applause because that was amazing. That was beautiful.
Thank you, babe.
That was dope. And this will be the last thing I add on to it. Two things. Yeah, we talk about a lot of business entrepreneurship, but to be real, think about your life. This is a life thing, man. Like, we're not separating two. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? How you operate in business is how you're going to be in life. You want to be a good person in life before you dive into business. So just make sure you checking your life in that process, because you'll lose yourself getting into bed with these business people and realizing that these people are not good life people. They could be good business people, but not good life people. So you want to be great at both. But this is a life thing. We're committed to being the best in life. And secondly, pain is a good thing, right? In my opinion, it's the type of pain. So just make sure you are aware of healthy pain and unhealthy pain. So just definitely play this podcast back so you can know, am I enduring good pain or unhealthy pain? Is my higher self trying to get my attention and tell me something's not right? Do I need to slow down so I can get some answers? So I can reroute and get reconnected and realign myself? Hopefully this podcast will help you get to the answer. So that's all I got to say, baby. Let's go ahead and close this thing out. Anything else on your heart?
That's all, baby.
Yeah.
I'm happy about this podcast. It felt very natural.
Yeah, most
It
definitely.
felt very flow. And that's the type of good feelings that I want to continue. And that's why I bring attention to it, because I don't care. I feel like you said this the other day. What do people want to hear from us? And I was like, no, what do we want to hear from us? What do we want to talk about? I don't care what they want us to talk about no more. I don't.
Yeah, people gonna relate. if we're going through these things, there's hundreds of thousands of people going through the same thing.
Right. Most
Yeah.
definitely. And I feel like that's our sweet spot.
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
chase more feelings like this one.
For sure.
But all right, guys. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Black and Abundant Podcast. Make sure that you follow us at By Nia Love and at Jasko the Producer on Instagram. But we love you guys, and we will see you next week.